Okay, what's going on, everybody? So this is a restream of something I did earlier because apparently what I did earlier, the audio was so low that it was nearly unwatchable from what I've been told. So I'm going to redo this so that I can teach you guys a couple of things about Samurai Shodown here. And this is one of those things where I've played fighting games my whole life. Well, I wouldn't say my whole life, probably about for now about 25 years maybe. So it's kind of like, I'm gonna show you how I would go through learning a character in Samurai Shodown. First and foremost, make sure you go to practice and go through the tutorial. The tutorial shows you the universal traits for everybody, and you definitely need to do that. That's very important because a lot of things I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be assuming that you guys know all of these universal things. And what I'm going to do is just show you how to break down a character in Samurai Shodown. And if you're a beginner, I guess the most traditional character you could pick is Haohmaru. He's kind of like a basic character from any game, like a Ryu. So, Street Fighter is balanced around Ryu. So let's take a look at Haohmaru and a couple of things we can learn with Haohmaru and how we can approach breaking down Haohmaru so we could see how we should play him if we decide to play Haohmaru. I may do character breakdowns for other characters, or let you guys see how I'm learning these characters on the fly, because a lot of this is on the fly. Like, I just got the game, I've had in-laws in town, so it's been a kind of a busy week for me, and I really haven't had time to play this game, so I'm kind of learning on the fly. Now, because I did this video earlier, there's a lot of things I know already from the video I did earlier, so I'll be able to make this a lot shorter, just so you can see how I would break this game down so that you can then break this game down and with any character. And as I said, I'll do it with some other characters just so you can see. Then get the character that you want and learn how to use the character you want efficiently. So the first thing that I would do is, in Samurai Shodown you have your lights, you have your mediums, you have your heavies, and you have your kicks. And then everybody also has forward kick, and down forward kick, and down kick, okay? So the first thing I would do is just kind of look at them, just so I can kind of see what they all do. And you can see they all serve a purpose. A beautiful thing about this forward kick, and you can see that Yoshitoru is on guard, so you can see he's blocking all of these things, but his forward kick is actually a low, so it's a standing low, which is a really good tool because, and I'll get into why this is going to be very beneficial later on. So you have your down kick. As I said, your down forward kick is pretty much universally a sweep. The other thing that you may not know about, like King of Fighters and KOF, is that you can cancel certain moves on certain normals on whiff, and normally the moves that you can cancel on whiff are the cancelable normals. So as we can see, I'm trying to cancel all of these moves, and none of them are really canceling. But if I do down light from afar, it cancels into that. Down medium cancels. Down heavy cancels. So those are going to be my cancelable normals, and I'm going to keep that in mind because that's where I'm going to get my combo damage from. And in a game like Samurai Shodown, combos aren't big anyway, so you're not really running after combos. Okay? So those are my far normals. My down, as we can see, down medium, down light are the same exact attack, except that down light comes out faster and is going to do less damage. Down medium is going to do a bit more damage, so it's a bit slower. Down heavy, as we can see, has a very vertical hitbox. It's going to be a pretty solid anti-air normal, is what I would assume. Okay, and maybe this kick, the standing kick, could be an anti-air normal because it doesn't look like a great footsie tool. But the one good thing to know about normals that don't involve your weapon in Samurai Shodown, so as we can see, when Yoshitoru blocks any sword attacks, the amount of recovery I have for him blocking my sword attacks. But normals that don't involve your weapons, as we can see, oops, sorry, that's a low. But when we do, let's see, the standing kick, you see, it's not giving me the same recovery. And you can see the blocking particle effects are different to signify that it's not going to be the same. So any normals that are blocked that do not involve your weapon don't have the crazy recovery. You can see they just finished the animation of the move. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay. Now the next step is to look at their close proximity normals, because if you come from the world of Street Fighter V and Street Fighter V is your first fighter, there are no close proximity normals. They took that out when Street Fighter hit Street Fighter V. They got rid of close proximity normals. But SNK games and a lot of fighting games still have them. So as we can see, his light looks like this from afar, but up close, it's that. And that right there is, even though he's hitting you with his elbow, so that's why on block there's a fast recovery, because he's not hitting you with his weapon. Medium, as we can see, is a sword slash, so if you block, you're gonna have crazy recovery. And then here goes your fierce slash. Okay? And then you have your down close proximity. Same thing. He's hitting you with the elbow, so that would be pretty safe. Down medium, he's doing the same thing. And as we can see, it's got way more pushback than the down light. It's going to take a little bit longer, but it's going to hurt a bit more. Okay? And then down fierce. Now, down fierce is the same thing from far away that it is close. Meaning, like we discovered earlier, it was cancelable. And as you can see, now, Haohmaru's, there is some timing to it. You have to wait till it's at the top to cancel it, as you can see right there. You cannot cancel it on hit like you would think of in most fighting games. You have to wait till it gets to the top, and then there's your cancel. Okay? And that's his down fierce. So, what we've observed then is that really these normals are going to be very good because they're cancelable. The down light, down medium, down heavy. So if we ever get into a combo in this game, we know, and oh, we need to test these cancelable. So down light is cancelable, close proximity down light. Down medium is cancelable, close proximity down medium. And down heavy we've already discussed. Standing light is not close proximity. Standing medium close proximity is cancelable, as we just saw right there. So a general combo with Haohmaru could be jump in with heavy, because, oh, we need to look at this air normal, so you could jump medium. I'm sorry, jump medium and jump light are the same. Medium comes out a bit slower, it's going to hurt a bit more. Jump light's probably going to be maybe your jump back air to air to knock somebody back if they're jumping in on you. You can try to counter it with that. You don't really want to jump in with any of these, because as you can see, there is potential to whiff unless you time it correctly. But if I would use the medium. But as we can see, jump heavy has the downward slash in it anyway, so we should probably stick to jump heavy if we're going to jump in. And that's how I would do a combo in this game, right there. The jump heavy, stand medium, because close proximity stand medium is cancelable. And then there you go. And as we can see, the damage is insane. Okay? So we kind of have our game plan. We have our jump heavy for jump-ins. And if we land, we're going to do close proximity medium, only on hit. If we can hit confirm, which means I see the hit happen. And as we can see, they look at the hit stun in this game. Like, there's enough hit stun to hit confirm into combo. So, even though I'm messing up here, there's enough hit stun to hit confirm. So, that's how we would go about looking at our normals. Okay. Now, let's look at his special moves. Okay, so he's got the projectile, the light, which has pretty good recovery, as you can see. The startup for them is all pretty much the same. It's the recovery that changes. The medium goes a bit further, has a little bit longer recovery, and the heavy has a lot more recovery, and it goes full screen. So, and then he also has a fake, and this fake is going to come in handy. So as we can see, Haohmaru doesn't have great zoning. He doesn't have, great quote-unquote pressure, because if we look at his run attacks, he doesn't really close distance on his run attack. Now, the good thing about his run attacks is that is a normal that does not use his weapon. Thus, if they block it, you're really safe. Okay, and everybody's running kick is usually a sweep. Okay, so as we can see, that right there is probably going to be our best running poke to just keep people honest. The running heavy is the same as his down heavy. Thus, as we know, this is a good anti-air normal. So if they're running at us, I mean, if they're running and they jump, if we are running and they jump, we can hit heavy to knock them out of the air. Now, the hit property is different when you're running, though. It knocks them up. I don't believe it, yeah, it's not cancelable either. So the properties are different. Okay? So we have those. So as I said, going back to the fake, we're going to use that fake later as far as special moves go. Now we have the running attacks. But what we're going to see is, like, if we throw the light, because we recover fast from it, we can chase the light tornado with our run, which we know we don't have good running attacks, but at least we have a way to help ourselves get in. You cannot do it with any of the others. This is too long between the medium, and the recovery on the heavy is way too long. Okay, so you can throw the light just to keep, give you something to follow to try to get in on your opponent to some degree. As I said, it's not great, but his running attacks aren't great. As I said, other than the fact that that is a normal without a weapon, thus it's going to have the block is going to be really good. It's not going to have weapon blocking, because as we see, weapon blocking, whenever they block your weapon, see, boom. See, I'm basically in this recovery, but with the punch, I'm not. So that's why this running punch is it's really fast and it's solid because it's pretty safe, kind of relatively speaking. I don't know if it's positive or negative. We'll go over, I wouldn't worry about it until the frame data comes out. Don't worry, somebody is going to make the frame data for the game. So I wouldn't even really try to figure it out on my own. It'll be coming out soon. Trust me. Okay, so let's go back to hit off. And the good thing about the run medium, even though it's risky, is it's the same normal as this close proximity medium. Meaning, if we run and do medium, we can cancel it into like anything. And I'm not hitting it fast enough. Let's see. See? Just like that. Boom. So it's cancelable. So the run medium is going to be good if we can somehow guarantee the hit. How we can possibly guarantee the hit, I don't know. But it does have that property. So it does have its value. So all of his running normals have their value. His running slide, is low. And it's a sweep. It's okay. There's a lot better slides. A lot of characters have a lot better slides. So what we're seeing is Haohmaru is average at everything. Okay? As you've seen, the DP. The DP, light, medium, heavy. The other thing about him is if you run and then do the DP, he actually goes way forward with his distance, relatively speaking, compared to his other one. So I can close a much better gap. It's like turning reused DP into Kins just by running. Okay, so that's good to know. You can see he clears a lot of horizontal distance. I got a phone call, guys. Give me 1 sec. Hey, what's going on, Steve? Doing a cast. You mind me calling you back? Yeah, we still doing Fighter Fest tomorrow, AEW. I think 7 Eastern. I'll look it up. I'll text you. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Watching, that's somebody I'm watching Fighter Fest with tomorrow. I do that wrestling show on Wednesdays, so excited about AEW Fighter Fest. But okay, back to this. So he's got that. He's got this reverse DP, which is a good gap closer, and he needs it because, as we said, he doesn't have really good running attacks, so his gap closing is going to be very important. Like anything he has that's a gap closer, we're definitely going to need. And those are his special moves, and then he's also got this here, which is a reflect, and it reflects projectiles. So he doesn't have great zoning, but at least he has a counter zone. He is pretty average at everything, and that's kind of what he is. Haohmaru's a very average character. However, he does have one really solid thing up his sleeve. If you can ever catch anybody with his standing hard, the damage is insane. So that's with Rage. You can see. I'll throw this on so you guys can see how much damage it does. It is 360. So there are 3 people in the game with a standing hard. 3 people that have a consistent standing hard that does 360 damage. Consistent. Haohmaru, Genjiro, and I think Yashimaru is his name, the ninja who's all over the air. He has a standing hard that does the same, but he can also hit a hard out of it and take it up even higher. So but it depends on the distance. If they're at the end of it, it'll whiff, and then you're going to get punished. So Haohmaru's standing hard is basically one of the moves that we really want to fish out, because this is a game-changing move. The damage is insane. If you're in Rage Explosion, you can see it goes to 42%. If you hit a counter with it, in Rage Explosion, it's all the way to 46%. So that is one really solid thing that Haohmaru has, is that. Okay? So, we're going to be fishing for that. If you play Haohmaru, that is a move that you are fishing for. Alright? And I'm not saying that I need to rely on getting that move, but if it's ever available, you always want to take it. If, for whatever reason, you're, let's see, max rage, okay. If for whatever reason you're, that you block a DP, you can step back and hit them with this. Okay, if I do Haohmaru's Pierce and they block it, you look at the recovery time. Let me have him block. Okay, look at the recovery time. I'm in trouble. Take a step back, hit him with the hard DP. Okay, if possible. The other way you can fish for this move is his stand medium, as we said, is a really good poke. I wouldn't say it's the best poke in the game. There's other people who have better pokes. I think Yagyu-Jubei's stand in medium, in my opinion, is the best in the game because it's about the same distance. I think it's a bit faster, and it's cancelable, while we know Haohmaru's isn't. So a lot of people are going to be expecting you to poke with this, and if you whiff and they may try to counter poke or something. And so the thing is, if you're ever at a distance where somebody tries to use a poke like this and they whiff, give it to them, right? Give them that hard slash and make them pay in a footsies punish game, in a whiff punish game. So those are probably the 2 ways that we're going to look to hit this move, is off of whiff punishes or just punishes in general, okay? And also you could do the blade reflect, where you knock the blade out of their hand. If you time that on a good hit, the counter move, that one, if you time that when they try to hit you, you'll probably have enough time to nail that as well. So this is our game plan with Haohmaru. We're going to be using his poking normals. We're going to be using his not very good zoning, but the jumps on Samurai Shodown are kind of floaty. Haohmaru's is actually a bit better than a lot of people, and you can actually throw a light and punish with a DP. Like, you have enough time to do that, like the old Ryu from Street Fighter 2, Hadouken, Shoryuken. So you can kind of do that. You can fake and then hit them with the Dragon Punch, with the fake projectile, right? So that's kind of our game plan with Haohmaru, just based off of the moves he has. If we run, we're going to pretty much use this more than everything else, unless we want to go for the low, but we can see the low's really slow. So really our best running normal is going to be this. It looks like it's going to be kind of safe. But there is something else that, if you don't know much about Samurai Shodown, this is a must-know tactic in Samurai Shodown. Block recovery is cancelable. Okay? Block recovery is cancelable at certain times, right? And you just need to learn the timing on when it's cancelable. As we can see, the standing light block, we can cancel almost instantly, right? Right at the end of it, we can cancel into a special move, and we're fine. So this standing medium, that's a really solid poke. First off, when they block it, you can see it's pretty safe because you kind of go back. So if you space them at the right distance, you're kind of safe anyway, unless they have Eason, of course. Eason is when you do Rage Explosion and do this run move. Okay? It's pretty safe, alright? But the beautiful thing about this move is right at the end, you can cancel it. So you could do things like that, and you cancel to bait the jump with your fake projectile that we were talking about, and then punish them with the Sharu, right? So we have a lot of tools. Or, you know, the other thing you have is you have your gap closer. So it looks like you can't really do anything from there with Haohmaru because when you get pushed back, and you also have your hard punish. So if you want to get closer, see, it's like you don't do this every time. So if I hit you at max range, okay, I'll take it. I know I'm safe, but who knows if they're going to try to react with a footsie stool? Boom. Who knows if they're going to try to react with a footsie stool? Punish. Right? So these are the ways that I would play Haohmaru based off of the moves he has. It looks like if you are lucky enough to get a throw, like as we can see, that doesn't link at all. So the only thing that we can really do... Oh, that... I thought that linked. So it looks like the only thing we can really do off of a grab, sadly, is that. So he doesn't have a lot of options when you grab. Oh, you can do your running medium, and we know the running medium is cancelable. So he's got really good options off the grab. I take that back, because you can do running medium. That move that I said is not very good for just a running attack. Well, we now know a good purpose for it. And this is what I'm saying. I'm kind of learning on the fly here myself. So, you know, you can do the running medium, and then you get a full combo out of it. Right there. Boom. 247, which is pretty strong for a grab move. If they're in corner, you do have a better option. You can, if you time it correctly, which I'm not doing, maybe you can't. There it is. Okay, you can hit him with the down fierce. Now remember, if your timing is good with down fierce, you can cancel at when the sword hits the height of your down heavy. But as you see, Haohmaru struggles to get a connection. So I would still use, you can still use the run medium, but if you have your rage, now you have access to your weapon flip technique. Thus, oops, well, I kind of screwed up because you have access to your weapon flip technique. So you remember, as long as you get your canceling timing down, which I obviously don't have, well, boom. Easy weapon flip, their weapon is out of their hand. You can now apply a lot more free pressure. Now, the only bad thing about this is that the weapon's right next to him, and I don't know how long it takes to pick up a weapon, but you may be able to punish them trying to pick up their weapon, and you'll have an Oki situation. And if you don't know what Oki means in a fighting game, Oki means you have pressure on their wake up. Okay? So, I forgot to go over this, because you remember in this game, everybody has universal overhead. And Haohmaru's universal overhead, unlike most characters, he doesn't leave the ground for his. And it's a standing overhead strike. Now, what's interesting about this is, if you need to fish out any damage, and sometimes like a last hit, well, remember, Haohmaru's got this standing low. He's got this standing low. And he's also got a standing overhead. So if they're down near the last of their life, as we can see, that's only 4%, that's an 8% damage blow. But if we know that, we can play this mix-up game on the wake-up. Either standing low or standing overhead. Because if we're ducking, it's obvious we're going to probably go low. But if we use the standing low, it doesn't look like we're going to duck. Because as you can see, you can kind of see them duck even when you hit down kick instantly. You can kind of see the duck, like it versus the stand. the stand, you don't know, you don't know which one they're gonna do. So it's a little trickier because he's got the standing low. It's a little bit trickier mix up. All right, and that right there is pretty much how you would play Haohmaru. Now, of course, there's universal things with every character. As I said, if somebody jumps, you have Isin, you can use your Isin. But there's really not much more to Haohmaru. He's very generic. He's very bread and butter. I'm not saying that makes him bad. He is the character that he is. Play him the way he was designed. As we can see, like you just never want to be in a situation like this where you're just throwing out wild heavies. And even if you can cancel him, as we know, the startup on the majority of his moves is not very good. And even if you use his invulnerable startup, look at the recovery. If you're going against another Haohmaru and you're using that against them, they've got options on you as far as how to punish you. You don't want to deal with that. You don't want to deal with the punish for that. So the safest way to play Haohmaru is to take advantage of his stand medium and the pretty fast recovery that you can get from it, and then reapply pressure, or use that to set up your projectile. You can fake. The light one's got a really fast release that you can follow with your run attacks, right? So, or you can counter poke if they try to punish you for it, which most people can't anyway. See, you can run after that fireball with that running fist that's relatively safe. You can do the running slide, which, as I said, looks like it's probably somewhat punishable. So that's kind of your game plan with Haohmaru. Haohmaru is strictly a footsies player. He's not a poking character like, say, Charlotte. He's a footsies character that you just kind of play very vanilla. And so if you just want a good intro character to learn Samurai Shodown with, Haohmaru is your guy. You take advantage of all of these tools, and if they throw a projectile at you, remember, you have your reflect. You can reflect the projectile right back at them and continue your pressure. If they throw a slow-moving projectile and you reflect it back, you can run after them and use the projectile to help secure your advancements. And of course, we know your punch is relatively safe, right? Your grab, remember, you got your running medium, which cancels. So that's your game plan with Haohmaru. Alright, there's not much more to the character. There's no real guaranteed way to land his super special attack unless you actually use the deflect. If you deflect their weapon out, I think that's probably the only guaranteed way. I don't know if it's an anti-air. Those are things you can try out. You really don't need me for that. Those are things you can try out for yourself. But this is Haohmaru. This is how I would use him, and this is how I advise you all to at least start with him. I'm not saying that I know everything, but this is kind of a good place to start with Haohmaru if you were interested in using Haohmaru. And the last thing I'm going to show you is, don't think that his projectile is comboable, because as you can see here, you cannot hit anything off of it. Even though they're not in the air, nope, nothing hits. So don't even waste your time thinking like, oh, if I get the right timing, nope, you're safe. Okay. But yes, as I said, he's a very bread and butter character in this game. A perfect character to learn the game with, because he is very basic. And there's nothing wrong with being very basic. It's just, how do I utilize my tools the best? And if you can ever fish this strike out, this is like hitting a crit in a MOBA game, right? When you get a crit, that is your crit attack. And crit attacks are game changers. If I hit my crit attack, it's game on. Because boom, you're really hurt, and that's a game changing attack. And if for whatever reason in Rage Explosion you hit it, remember the damage is insane. If we go to counter here, look at the damage if we go to counter. Nearly half health. That is a game-changing attack. So, there you go. Intro tutorial for Haohmaru. We hit close to 30 minutes, and that was my goal. So I hope if you have any other questions, hit me up in the contact us. This is an email link. And I'll see if I can help you. I'll run through some more characters at another time, but I just kind of wanted to redo my Haohmaru one because I did it earlier and apparently the audio was really bad. So this is your boy J Dash. This is Crash with Dash. I appreciate any subscribers I get, and you know, if you want to learn another character, if you want an insight on another character on how I'd approach them, let me know. All right, this is J Dash signing out. Peace.